comes down, therefore, to systems and attitude, really.
Yeah, I mean, my whole business coaching thing is based on people, systems, and brand. Okay, those are the three pillars, all right? So, and everything we do, it's one of the reasons why you'll see a lot of our models are triangles and things,
yes.
And it's because of those 3 points. You've got to get the people thing right, and I've got sort of 10 key things which I look at for people, the 10 R's I call them. Then you've got to get the systems right, and the systems are both external and internal systems. And then fundamentally, you've got to have a proposition. So brand isn't just logo and identity and colours. You've got to have a proposition that is sufficiently compelling to cause a consumer to say, I'll buy that.
And when you say brand, there's discussions in the industry about the balance between personal brand and company brand.
Yeah.
What's your point of view on that?
Well, again, I think there's actually 4 brands. So when I work with sorry, yeah, sorry, didn't mean to top trump you, but
no, I love this.
But I think there's 4 brands or 4 aspects to your brand that you always need to consider. So the consumer brand is one, okay, and that's a really, really clearly of importance. You've got to get your proposition right; it appeals to the consumer. Increasingly, though, and I could argue more importantly, is your employer brand or your attraction magnet brand if you're looking to attract franchisees, i.e. the sort of place you are to work at and so on. It's really important. The third one is the personal brand, or for some of us, leadership brand. So how are you as an individual, basically? And that, again, is something which needs to be
Is that external or internal?
Both. And the leadership brand is both, but very much 50-50 in terms of. And the 4th one is what I call the investor brand, in terms of being able to attract inward investment and ultimately an exit, because everybody is going to exit, even if it's in a box and be carried out. Every one of us is going to exit. So what's your investment? Now, of those 4, right, ideally, every communication should appeal, but at the very least, every communication should have a checklist against the 4. And when it comes to personal,
do you teach people this?
Yeah, 100%. Thank you. Yeah, we do. I mean, we that's our sort of third pillar, people, systems, brand. The third pillar is around those 4 things, and making sure that what you've got there for is something which is compelling. It's different. It's got a resonance with each of these different groups. The sort of place where basically people want to go and work there because it looks like, and it is a great place to work. Consumers love interacting with it, and an investor would turn around and go, I'd stick money into that. I mean, it's not hard, right? Well, it's not, the theory's not hard, the practice is hard.
Are you happy to mention any names of people that you think are doing that well in the UK?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot, and the trouble is, if I start mentioning 1 or 2, I'll probably, I'll get a kicking from several others in terms of why didn't you mention me? I think Ashton's in Hertfordshire, St Albans, is a fantastic business. Carl Judd, who's the owner of that business, is one of the best estate agency leaders I've ever worked with. So I'll just focus on Carl's business, and the reason I pick it is because it's it would appear to most agents as fitting to that traditional model,
yes.
Okay, as opposed to something a bit more contemporary, perhaps, or different. If it's a conventional model. And I've worked with Carl. Carl's been a member of our mastermind groups for probably 5 years now.
Yes.
He was a member of our summit group for 2 years, and I've worked directly with him. So I have a bias about it, but that business really, really does deliver brilliantly well on these 3 things, and in a modest, understated, but an appropriate way. It's. I've always been a great sort of teacher of mine in the marketing world. Clive Cobb, he said to me once, Peter, don't tell me you're funny, make me laugh. And a lot of estate agents are really busy at telling people how funny they are, metaphorically. Whereas I think what Ashton's and the very best estate agents do, metaphorically, is they make people laugh. They don't have to say that, that they're this, that. They just are. They just deliver. They just get on with it, and it becomes self-evident and palpable. And I think that what businesses like Ashton's, and there are plenty of others, there's lots and lots of others that I've worked with and work with now, do brilliantly well. I mean, there's a couple on the EA Masters in October. We've got 3. I'm calling them the next generation. Nothing to do with Star Trek, but we've had for 10, 20 years we've had all the, if you like, the legends, the Peter Rollings and the Dale Nortons and the David Nunes, and these incredible people come up onto our stage. We've gone for 3, what I was going to call them the young guns, but I was persuaded to call them the next generation. So you've got Mark Ross at Red Brick in Sheffield and Chesterfield. I mean, top bloke, top business, exceptionally good brand, and really, really pioneering some new things. Matt Nichol in Worcestershire. I mean, just one of the most driven individuals I've ever worked with. And Matt's team, it was a privilege to work with them a few weeks ago. Matt's team are just on it in every single level. He's about to open up his third office. He's really charging. And then there's Chris Holroyd, who's based in Keighley and in Yorkshire. And Chris has got a really different approach to business. 40% of his income is generated through financial services. And he's really applying, I mean, Chris is just 30, right? So he's got 3 offices, I think it is now, and he's only 30 years of age. They're 3 extraordinary individuals as well who are delivering. The commonality of all of them is they're massive, they've got those 5 attributes. They're coachable, they're curious, they're intelligent, they've got evidence of past success. They all came out of bigger companies, having been successful, right? And they've got a phenomenal work ethic. And you get into their company, when you're with them, I come away from my interactions with them massively re-energised, and their appetite to learn. They all come on things like our Blue Sky events. They're members of ours. By the way, look, you don't have to be a member of the Property Academy to be a good estate agent. It just happens that an awful lot of our members are, right? Yes. And I've said to many agents, if we don't offer you what you want, please, go and get it from somebody else, right? But whatever you do, do not stagnate, do not stand still. Always be learning. Constantly be looking to improve and to raise your game. Because if you don't, you will be overtaken very, very quickly. And what I'm seeing now is that those who get it are pushing themselves and pushing their teams to get ever higher. And